So quite some updates since the last video. Got this thing coming together. Got the plastics on and widened. Radiator mounted. You know what? Just for the video, let me actually put the carbon fender right here. Because, you know, we just got to enjoy this. We got to enjoy this carbon goodness. Just all together. Put that down like that. Man, that's going to look so good. Still haven't got the wheels back from powder coat yet. So hopefully I hear something this week. I'll probably give the guy a call. But yeah, making progress on this thing. You know, some panels probably need a little tweaking here and there, but that's just more so because of having the wrong length. It's like a ball and socket. Quick disconnect connection for these Morg Mini Moto pins, which I've also upgraded to. I wish I would have did this a lot sooner, because this is essentially like, I guess just to put it in layman's terms for you guys, this is essentially like having a low profile hood latch almost. So you see these have like a little button that you could press, and here, don't want to press it now because I don't want my radiators to fall out there for the video, but yeah, it takes like 3 seconds to pull these panels off. So definitely an upgrade that I should have did right out the gate. Shout out to Morg Mini Moto for getting these shipped out pretty quick to me. Very nice product. Check his page out if you guys haven't already. Got the new DME chain guard. Looks a lot better than that evil one. Got all the titanium red hardware in my hub. All of this stuff is machined. Got the new 20 mil axle in. Got all red titanium hardware from Z-Spec Design. I mainly got this for the wheels because I do have 3-piece Chimera engineering wheels, and they have about like 25 fasteners a piece to hold the rim halves together. So I ended up picking a bunch of red titanium hardware up. So got a pack just for the wheels plus a bunch of extras, and then I also have some extras for the hub, and then for the hub to rim attachment. Brock Billet kickstand. This should look really good. This is an adjustable billet kickstand. I haven't installed it yet because it's, you know, not really in a position to be installed yet, but adjustable. Very nice piece. Got this shipped out pretty quick. Want to give my friends over at Steady Garage a shout out as well. Just got a package in from them, and then they hooked me up with some swag, 2 t-shirts, and also got some new rotors for this thing, because I thought these always looked better than the, you know, the boring round ones that I had. I mean, how good can you make a rotor really look? But this design looks cool. This should look pretty cool on the bike, especially with the new wheels, or the wheels being powder coated. So I got one for the front, one for the rear. Also got some new Brembo RCS 17 brake and clutch masters assemblies. Upgraded to the smoked reservoirs. I got one for the clutch as well. Just for me being OCD, I know this might be too big on the clutch side. This reservoir right here is actually 45 milliliters. I'll be putting the same size and then also same smoked one on this side as well. I'm just waiting for the black brackets to come in. This is what came with the Brembo kit, but the black ones, they'll mesh a lot better with the color scheme that I got going on the bike, which is Panda themed, because that's what the bike is called. It's Panda. Panigale Honda. For the people that don't know where that name was stemmed from. But should look a lot better with all this stuff. Got my Moto Gadget billet mirror. Single piece shatterless mirror. Looks good. I love the Moto Gadget stuff. And actually, while I'm on topic of that right now, I got rid of my original Grom OEM plastic switch, and I upgraded to a Moto Gadget. This is a 6-way switch. This is like exactly what I was looking for in terms of sleekness, and then something that You know, it doesn't stick out too far. And this is what it looks like powered. So everything's all color coded. So you basically have high beam, low beam, left turn signal, right turn signal, horn, and then you have an auxiliary switch, which is this white one right here, which I haven't decided what I'm going to use for. So yeah, pretty nice stuff. I actually run their PDM on both of my bikes, the Turbo YZ and the Ducati Grom. It's really the proper way to do an electrical system, especially when you're doing a ground up build like the YZ in this, when using an aftermarket ECU system too. But if you haven't, check out Moto Gadget. They make some very high quality bike components. A lot of their stuff is really sleek. A lot of it is billet aluminum, so that's right up my alley. And yeah, it just fits the bill for most things. You know, compactness and then also functionality. Also upgraded to a actual Ducati V4S electronic throttle. Originally, I had a KTM 390 Duke throttle on there, and it had a really big, bulky switch housing on it. It's actually the same one that I run on the YZ as well, too. And the reason why it was a carryover part to the Grom is because it was just one less thing that I really had to do homework on. I had proved it out on my YZ, so, you know, since I didn't have any issues with it on there, and this is also drive-by-wire like the YZ, it only made sense to just, you know, integrate into the bike just to get it out and running, and then pretty much go from there. So this has the same wiring scheme as the previous KTM 390 Duke throttle, so it should make it very easy to integrate into the Fueltech software. This throttle assembly will not be staying like this though, because I do have a Billet Duca bike black anodized housing coming with a start-stop switch. It's like a 3-switch configuration. And then I have some new domino grips with some red anodized bar end pieces coming as well. But I guess most notably for the video, a lot of people were wondering how I was going to execute the Tri-radiator setup. So I ended up going with a Ninja 650 radiator. This is quite a bit larger than the CBR 300 radiator I had on here. And then for the two vertically mounted radiators, I ended up picking up a set of RMZ, I believe they are like 250 radiators. So you can kind of see, like, right off the bat, this thing has a lot more airflow exposure to it. This mount I do have to move over an inch too, because I forgot that the frame is slightly offset. But one of these I do have to replace because I was cutting the brackets off of it, and I ended up nipping one of the like cores, or one of the tubes in the core. So I got one of those coming. I'll have it Tuesday. I'm just using this one more so for fitment and mock-up. And then I would also say take this with a grain of salt with seeing them mounted like this, because I just kind of have them laying in place, kind of butted up against the plastic. I will make this look as symmetrical as possible. They actually look pretty good when I'm holding them in place from the side. So like this right one, for instance, or left one, I think the most you might see from the side is maybe about that much core. But with the radiators being painted black, I think it'll probably be a little inconspicuous. I really don't want to have to cut into this end tank, because water volume is definitely not on my side with the real estate that I'm working with on this thing. So I'm gonna try to, you know, rock this back and forth and try to get it tucked as much as possible before it, like, you know, crashes into something behind the panel. So I'm thinking it'll probably end up looking something like this, and then with it painted black, it really shouldn't be too noticeable. But they'll definitely be like cocked towards the side like this, similar to a dirt bike, if that makes sense. I just still have to make mounts for them, and I'll probably end up using a bunch of these extra mounts that I have from the CBR radiator. So like these little aluminum mounts, I just got to clean them up, but they already have like the rubber bushings in them and everything. Or actually, this is a better one right here. So yeah, I just got to clean them up on the grinder, and then pretty much go from there, and then have them welded to the radiators. But inlet and outlet will be dash 16 based. So the kit that I actually got from HSBK company, like I showed in my last video, I ended up using like only 40% of that kit because I clipped the ends off of it, the inlet and outlet, so that way I can adapt it to dash 16 AN, which is equivalent to the 1-inch ID of the stock OEM Ducati inlet and outlet ports for the coolant system. Because I think that was one of my pitfalls on my last coolant system on the first iteration of the bike. I was using 2-8s to the inlet and then 2-8s to the outlet from the radiators. And I don't think it was enough flow. So I believe it was a very big flow restriction. So now everything will match like OEM, and then it'll also be a much more simplistic cooling plumbing setup. So these radiators will end up getting painted black too. So this is just kind of a rough draft of what's going on. This is like a general area of how they will be mounted, but they'll be a lot more tucked in, and then the mounting will look symmetrical for these as well. So other than taking care of the one bottom mounted radiator clearance issue, which a lot of you hated, me included, I'm also having a custom billet oil pan made. And this is a little snippet my buddy that's helping me design this showed me the other day. So we reduced the sump quite a bit. That's going to help with the ground clearance, because with the OEM pan that was on this thing and my fat ass on this bike, that thing was scraping every single time I forgot to lift off the seat when I was going over speed bumps. But I mean, even other than that, like it was just hanging way too low for my comfort. Especially, I mean, not only can you damage the bike if you hit that at speed, if you hit something at speed with that, but if you hit something hard enough, it can send you over the handlebars as well. So, yeah, that was definitely something I wanted to remediate, and I'm glad that it's being taken care of now. You know, with it being billet as well, you guys know I'm a billet fanatic. It's going to look good anyway. I'm excited that it's just a billet pan that'll be nice and exposed on the bike as well. So, it's kind of killing two birds with one stone here. So, just figured I would share that. That should be a pretty sweet upgrade. So, shout out to Brett over at FinFab for helping me get that pan whipped up. So, I can't wait to get it. And yeah, I'll show you guys when I actually get it in, hopefully in a few weeks. Another big thing that I got in the mail, and I was waiting for this for quite some time, is the bronze oil light. And this is a conversion that I'm doing on the swing arm. So let me pan over here. I gotta go take this to the machinist today, but I'll no longer be running these needle bearings in the swing arm. And the reason for that is because with the oil light, you don't have to run a sleeve like what you see sticking out that bore right there, that the shaft that rides on the shaft. So the new 3/4 shaft that I'll be running for the swing arm pivot, which is a massive upgrade for this bike because the stock one is like 12 millimeters. It'll ride directly in the oil light bushing. And what's nice about this is that it's basically, you don't have to service it because it's oil impregnated. If you look close, you can actually see, it looks a bit porous. I don't know if the camera is picking it up. Yeah, now you can see. But as I'm touching this, my hands are actually getting oily. And when it gets a little bit of heat in it, it actually spews oil out. So with the shaft riding in there, it'll have its own self-contained oil lubrication. And yeah, it should work pretty well. So I bought it as a round stock. I will be getting this turned down. The swing arm, I really don't have to do too much modification to. So the only modifications really needed to make this work is the inner side of the bearing bore on the swing arm needs to be bored out 2 millimeters. And that's more so because there's a shoulder in there that the needle bearings seat up against once everything is pressed and fully seated. So got to bore that out, so that way it's a 24 millimeter bore straight through, and then we should be good to go. There will be a total of 4 bushings because they have to mate in the center of this bore, because I need a flange on all, or I guess on both sides of the bearing bore, where there's contact between the actual swing arm and the frame, and then the rear sets and the swing arm. So everything, it moves all nice and freely. So these will be set up with a 5 millimeter flange thickness on each side. And then the wall thickness of these bushings should be, I think, about 1/8 of an inch. So should work pretty good. I'm trying to use my best judgment on this stuff, and you know, just hope for the best. But I've heard really good reviews on using the oil light for stuff like this. So it's kind of a clever solution that doesn't require a lot of, you know, a lot of re-engineering. I guess another thing worth mentioning as well too is there's a tube in the inner part of this rear frame section. This actually has to be drilled out to 750 thousandths for the shaft to go through, because you can see I got the stock one in there just to hold everything together right now. And this is obviously the 12 millimeter OEM shaft. So I got to drill that out. Luckily, the machinist has a really big drill press, and I don't think we should have a problem chucking the entire frame up there and getting that drilled through for the new shaft. So the 3/4 shaft has already been made for this thing. It's 3/4 by 16 threads. So I've had so many McMaster car orders come in the past few weeks. It's crazy. But I ended up ordering the nuts for those as well. I got 2 nuts for the shaft. And yeah, basically the goal here, because the shaft will be threaded on each end with the 3/4 -16 threads. So castle nut each side, and then this is set up with a 5/32 cotter pin to, you know, keep everything from not vibrating loose. So it's kind of the way you set up the you know, the oil light bushings, where you know, where things have to be preloaded and not over crushed, because you will damage the bushing if you do that. So that's why I'm going to the dual cotter or dual castle nut setup on each side with the cotter pin. Changing up the exhaust while I'm doing all these upgrades as well. So back in the summer, you guys know I put an Aero slip-on pipe. This thing did sound really good, but with the color change and everything, and most people knowing that Ducatis and Termignonis go together like peanut butter and jelly, it only seems right for me to put a Termignoni slip-on on this thing. So what I got on order right now is a Termignoni black titanium slip-on with a carbon tip. This is actually what it looks like right here. So that thing should sound really good, because I don't think I've ever heard a bad sound clip of a Termignoni exhaust on a Ducati motor, especially the 1199. So should look pretty sweet, and then it goes with the overall color theme that I'm doing as well. So it should be a pretty nice mashup with the new burnt bronze exhaust and that black titanium with that carbon. So it should look pretty sweet. But yeah, it's coming together. This stuff does take time, because obviously, as you can see, a lot of this stuff had to be re-engineered to handle the power that the 1199 is capable of making. And then making the bike overall safer and, you know, more capable, and not having to like second think things when you want to make that street hit. So So I think all of these upgrades should definitely be in favor with making the bike perform better and, you know, making it cleaner, sleeker, and, you know, just overall more capable. But coming together, hoping to have it out mid-April. I got to call the powder coater tomorrow and get an update on those wheels, because that was really the only custom color that I'm doing on this thing. Everything else that you see in the video that is uncoated and, you know, have grind marks on them and stuff, all of this stuff is getting powder coated gloss black. Nothing crazy, so that should be a pretty straightforward process to get all that stuff done, because that's probably the most popular most popular colors. So yeah, I figured I would touch base with you guys. I was hoping to have a few more components that I have on order here so I could show them in the video, but it looks like there's a delay on a few things. So I wanted to get this video out fast, so I'm going to pop this out today. And yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube. Please comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate the comments. Like I said, I'm an open book with all this stuff. I'm not keeping anything secret or trying to hide anything from you guys. So please feel free to ask questions. And, you know, anything you're curious about, feel free to ask. But yeah, looking to have this thing out mid-April. I know I'll probably be cutting it close, but, you know, all the stars are aligning so far. Everything's going smooth, but that's kind of what happens when you do your homework on this stuff beforehand and, you know, try to come up with a game plan instead of, you know, trying to go at everything blindfolded. But yeah, till then, you know, please like, comment, subscribe, and then go follow the Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to the YouTube and click that bell notification. Till next time, guys, have a good one.